Hey, everyone. Hope everybody's had a great trip. Hey there, Rodney, Pastor Larry. Hey, Steve. We'll get things set up here a little bit. Hey there, Todd. Hey, Jack and Nanette. Looks like everybody's hungry for a chat tonight. Oh, my. Let's see. There we go. All right. Getting things set up. Looks like everybody's out tonight. Hey, Paul. Let me see. Invite. And the link is in the chat. Anybody would like to come in because I don't want to sit here talking to myself. Hey, Richard, Keith, Titron, hey, Norman. We got Paul. We got James. We got Jeanette, Jack and Danette. We got Nancy. I know she was withdrawals last night. M and J, what's happening? Oh my. Get my information out here. Hey, Ben. Hey, Sean. Getting ready for Hive Life, or not Hive Life, but Nobby. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, let's see who else we got. I didn't hear nothing about Dr. Peck interview. Nancy, was that a recorded something? There's Lee. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Edward. Well, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and everything of that nature. All your kids are still home and those families had a good time. Hey, Mike. And so weather here has been kind of chilly and cold. Bees haven't really been flying. Had a little bit of a skip of snow yesterday morning. Kind of melted off by that afternoon. Checked the bees. I guess it was Monday. And I drove around in front of these hives right behind me there. Actually, there I had one hive that was really strong. It must be really strong because they were, even though it was 30, I'll say 40 degrees at tops, they were hanging out at the entrance. So how's Norm doing?
Hey, pretty good. When you got a moment, I'd like to discuss some research about bees.
I was just watching Matthew here, Sweeney. Well, go ahead, Norman. I mean, what do we want to talk about tonight?
Okay. Okay,
Hey,
so
Randy. Go ahead.
Okay, very good. So I'm not a beekeeper, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested in it because a close friend of mine. Oh, you know what? I'm having feedback issues here. Hold on one second.
You sound good to me. unless you want to, you got to take the volume off of the YouTube side.
Okay.
Hey, Ryan.
Let me try that. Hold on a second.
Ryan, if you're not working, come on in.
Yeah, now I can't hear you. So let
Okay.
me figure this out. Say something, Charlie, please.
I'm fine. Or you have an echo
Okay.
still?
Yeah, I got it figured out now.
Okay.
So I'm not a beekeeper,
Yeah.
but I used to work in cancer research, right? So, and aeronautics. So I'm an inquisitive individual, and I did some research on your hobby business, beekeeping. And I
Mhm.
tell you, those people in Israel, they're very smart people. When I got into electronics, uh, I got an electronic kit from Israel, and I learned everything about electronics from the manual that was in that kit. Those
Right.
guys are brilliant. And there's some really interesting bee research being done in Israel. For instance, there's one guy, and he's got hives with all these sensors and cameras, and it's hooked up to artificial intelligence. So the bottom line is it can detect when you have varroa mites or disease, and it'll notify you instantly.
Yeah.
It's very cool technology. I I wish I had the link handy to share it, but yeah, there's that. And then there's another guy out in Europe, and what he's done, you can actually purchase his hives. I think he's in Czechoslovakia. And what he's done is he's built a hive with like a solar heat collector. And from my memory, if my memory serves me correct, the way it works is it uses the heat from the sun to kill the mites, but it doesn't affect the bees. Oh, you heard that one before. Okay, I'll shut up
No,
now.
I was just reading what Canadian. I actually have heard that one about that.
Yeah.
Um, it's they try that over here with a heat device you put in the hive, and supposedly it heated the hive
Oh,
up
yeah. I heard about
and
that guy. He went
killed.
out of business. He like disappeared.
Well, when it takes 15 or 20 minutes or a half an hour to do one hive, that's just not practical.
Right.
And so that I actually seen that I've seen somebody give up beekeeping. He had two of them units, and I don't think they barely gave them away.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it just really didn't pan
Work.
out
Yeah.
very well. Now, I mean, there's a lot of folks, coming up with a lot of different ideas. Or there was that
Yeah.
one company here just recently that was on Cayman's channel. I looked into that. It might be something to it. I don't think they have it completely figured all out. I'm sure, and with the EPA to be able to say it's a treatment uh, stuff that they're using,
Yeah.
it'll take multiple years and lots and lots, thousands and thousands of dollars for them to get that approved before it's legal to use.
Well, yeah, we all know any government agency, it takes forever to get anything done, right? So say no more.
Hmm.
But yeah, I tell you though, the think about it. The concept of having sensors in the hive and cameras hooked up to artificial intelligence to, gather all that information and figure out if there's something bad going on in your hive. It just seems like a great idea to me.
Well, I mean, they've had the brood miner out for years, and which measures humidity, temperature, and weight.
Okay.
And with those and algorithms, you can tell whether the hive is brooding up, how
Huh.
much the hive is consuming food wise,
Interesting.
and the
Never heard of that.
temperature or humidity is.
Hmm.
somebody that you might would like, if you like that kind of stuff, there is,
I'm going to write that down. Hold on.
yeah, it's called a brood miner. It's American made. Let me find a, let's see, I can't find it here right now in front of me. I'm going to ask Lee or somebody. What's the guy up in the Klondike, north of 60 or something like that? Tardif is his last name. Can't
I'm reading Ian's comments and I'm just cracking up.
Yeah.
North of 60, huh? Up in the Yukon. Yukon's a beautiful place. My brother used to live there.
Yeah, I just can't.
Cold, though.
Yeah, I've subscribed to him, I think. I can't find it right now.
Well, I wish a beekeeper joined on here so he didn't drop off. I feel like a dead weight here. Plus, I'm baking a fruitcake. I've got all the ingredients started.
Right. Let's see. I think this is it. I'm not sure. Nope. Anyway, yeah, there it is. Bob's got it. If you see Bob's comment, it's Tardif, Tardiff. That's his last name. I can't quite pronounce his first name. It's Etienne. And he has a lot of scientific information. He has what would you call it? Video or scientific documentation showing the actual cluster moving around in the hives right in the middle of the winter. Hey, Bob, good to see you're on tonight. Been a long time since we've been able to talk.
I didn't see Bob's link. Let me see if I can find it.
It's not a link. It's the guy's name. You're going to have to put the guy's name in there.
Etienne Tardif. Okay.
Etienne Tardif is the guy's name.
Yeah, I'll look that up, man. That sounds interesting.
Or below 60, north of 60 or something like that.
You know what? The research I've done, I made a blog. Let me find the link and I'll put it in the chat for you all. Because I did a fair bit of research on your bees. Hold on. Let's see here. Excuse me. Here we go. Okay, I got it. I'll put it in the chat here. And you guys feast upon it. It's my Christmas gift for y'all. Here we go. It's a bunch of scientific articles and about like I feel terrible, like what happened to Brad with the mites. It's just horrifying that it can wipe out all your hard work instantly. You know, there's got to be a way to for every problem there's a solution. Just like Ian, he posted a video where there was ice on his blowers. Surely there's got to be some kind of configuration to prevent that. Maybe heat them or something. I don't
know. He's kind of figured that out pretty good, I think. You mean on his new refrigeration unit?
No, on his silos, he's got blowers, and they were icing up. But like you said, he's got to figure it out.
They were they're the air fans that go and blow air into the grain storage bins.
Yeah, well, when I saw that, I kind of chuckled inside because it's like, well, obviously made in the southern United States, they don't have the winters that I come from Manitoba. I used to do snow clearing. It's brutal weather in the winter up there.
Hey, JW. Yeah, they're. I'm not sure whether the air is blowing in or blowing out on that. I'm not. I can't.
Right.
I don't have experience with their grain elevators.
Yeah, me neither.
All that. I'm not. I'm sure they're full of
I
grain.
know in the old days they used to explode from all the grain dust. Ignite.
Yeah, that's the big, huge elevators.
Yeah.
And that's back when it's dry and everything like that.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah. Good evening, Dodd House. Let's see. Hey, Mark. Mark, I got some questions for you on a mite treatment that you said you added something to it. Let's see. Yeah, Stephen there. He lives down in what is it? Down in Memphis. Down there where it's warm.
I worked in Memphis. That's one crazy town. I mean, it's a good town, but it's kind of wild. I was listening to Elvis all week. By the way, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. So what's flashing in your background? Back there, blue and green. Is that your Christmas tree or something?
Oh, that's I got these LED lights that I paid. They were on sale for $1.99. It was like a whole string of lights, But yeah, I got Christmas lights up too, sure.
Yeah, Russell there, he's talking about running the fans on the granary to reduce moisture content and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But I think Ian, I believe, if I didn't remember, he does have a grain dryer. Yeah, absolutely. I do know he has a grain dryer. Runs the grain dryer, goes through the dryer, then it's blown up into the grain tanks, and then the fans on them tanks circulate the air so it doesn't mold and stuff like that. That's what that's all about. Now, whether I think there's blowing air out. So that's maybe where the moisture is coming out of the grain and the snow is caking on that. So, just something that you have to worry about.
God bless all the farmers. Like, for instance, I just put some flour in my fruitcake, and it's almost like I take it for granted. It's like, oh yeah, flour comes from heaven, is just always there. But no, you got guys like Ian out in the cold and the heat, slaving away for months to grow the wheat, and us consumers, we just take it for granted. But
I had 30. I grew 30 acres of wheat.
In fact, good for you. My grandfather used to, when he came to Canada in the 1900s from Scotland, he worked a scythe by hand, chopping the wheat by hand, man.
Yeah, he used to use a cradle, as they call it.
Yeah.
So anyway, anybody else wants to come in? I'll talk some bees.
I gotta cook my fruitcake. By the way, I bought some honey from Flower Street Farms, and
Brian,
today. It was great, delicious.
Yeah,
real quality.
I received a Christmas package from him a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah,
and got some of his lemon flavored creamed honey.
Wow!
Along with some beautiful candles.
Yeah, the candles are nice. I got one too.
And I also got some of his swag as far as his new hat that he has out. There he is right there.
Yeah. No, that's a man of quality. I purchased some little things from his site for my daughters, and I think they're going to be ecstatic. The soap looks beautiful. The presentation of it is beautiful, and it looks like high quality lavender soap. Looks great. Yeah, way to go, Flower Street Farms in Colorado.
Now, don't you live up in, what is it? You're in the States, correct? Or not? Or up in
For
Canada?
now, yeah, I'm thinking about becoming an American citizen, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But
But aren't
Illinois,
you close friends with Brad
yeah,
over the
quite
years
good.
or something? I think you worked with him.
No, we went to school together.
Went to school together.
Yeah, he's a good man. Most Canadians are.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I haven't seen Brad on the show here for quite a long time. I figured he was busy at the time while getting ready for winter and
Did
all
you
that.
see his video about making honey toffee? Oh my goodness, it looks great.
He was making some kind of cake. I won't call it a cake. It was um, something with walnuts and honey, and
Yeah,
he
honey
did that.
toffee.
He did that honey bars. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Oh, it
He
looks
did.
so good. His honey looks really, really good too. The quality of it, yeah.
Yeah, caramels.
Caramels, right?
That's right. Yeah, he did that last year. They look really good.
Hmm.
If he was coming to Nobby, he would bring some of that with him for the No Life Beekeepers dinner. That would be pretty nice, but he's not coming in. Hey, Rick, Merry Christmas. Hope everything's nice and toasty, warm in Florida.
Honey caramel, my next project.
Oh my. So what else I was going? Yeah, I mean Brian was also thinking about OA. Yes, I'm going to be doing some OA vapor here. I think Saturday should be around 45 degrees. Sunday should be in the 50s, but it says it's going to rain.
Right.
And get that done before Nobby. And then I'll probably do the next treatment if the weather's any good around the 11th of January.
Where
Somewhere's in that.
where is Nobby being held and when?
It's being held at Louisville, Kentucky at the Expo Center.
Oh, really? That's just down the street from me.
And
When's it going on?
next week,
Really?
Labor Day, or New Year's,
Oh, no way.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Really? 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Can I just show up and pay admission, go in? Or what?
No, you're supposed to go online and
Oh,
buy your tickets, as far as I know,
okay.
and all that. I'm not sure. I know the tickets are a little bit different this year. Used to be you had to buy a 3-day ticket. This year, I think you can buy individual tickets, but I think you're better off buying a 3-day anyway.
Kentucky. You know what? I think I'm going to go down there with hopes that I might bump into you and maybe some of the.
Well, we'll be there. We'll be at a lot of the trade show.
Okay. So you said it's on the 2nd and 3rd?
Yeah, the 2nd. Yeah, what is it? It should be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It starts at 12:30 on Thursday and goes till 6 o'clock each day. And Saturday it ends. The tickets are available at the door, but I would,
Yeah, it's faster to do it online. Sure. Cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, the tickets are, what do you call it, electronically sent to you. So.
Oh, okay. I might bump into you there then.
Okay.
So you can see what I look like, right?
Yeah, I'll have my jacket on with my swag on, I guess you call it, Sawmill Charlie's big emblem on my back or on my front and all that.
I tell you, my neighbor, he runs a tree servicing business down the street, and he's got a sawmill. He just bought a bigger one. So he's got 2 sawmills just set up in the forest out back. So he brings in the trees and then he saws them up and sells the lumber. So people pay him to cut down their trees. He hauls trees back and cuts up lumber and sells that. Smart guy. And he's like 70. He's up there climbing trees like a monkey,
Yeah. Yeah, Steven, you're only going to be there Saturday just to pick up equipment. You ought to hang out with the rest of us. being a holiday weekend, or I guess it is a holiday for some folks. And let's see. Barnhill will be coming to the party Wednesday night.
Oh, there's a no life party Wednesday.
Well, the tickets have already been sold out as far as I'm putting the party on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock at a pizza party. And
yeah, I can't make that. I gotta work. I'll see you Saturday. If we bump into each other.
All right, well, Steve, I mean, a Homestead Avenger, look me up. I'll probably be in the where the all the equipment and stuff is, vendor area. So, Bob, are you still on here? Why don't you come on in? And Todd, and anybody else would like to come in? So
Charlie, how many hives do you have?
Right now, around 24.
Yeah, it's enough.
I'm downsizing. Yeah. Downsizing some. I can't have as high as 28. I've had a few dead outs and I've had some queen issues this spring, but overcome that quite quickly. And
how about diseases or evil insects? Do you have any issues with that?
Well, it depends on if the diseases all boils down to mites. That's what it amounts to.
Oh, really?
The more mites, the more viruses and stuff that you have, which kills your bees and all that.
So do you put that paper under the hive and count your mite counts once in a while, or what?
I have the chloroplast boards, and when I vaporize the hives, I go back about 24 to 48 hours later, see if I have any mite drops. Okay. I don't open my hives up.
Well, that's good.
In the wintertime, and that gives me enough of an idea of what's going on. This year I gave myself a Christmas present, and I got a infrared camera.
Wow.
It's the buzz. It's supposed to be the second world's smallest camera, which I don't know why that
looks huge.
Well, that's just a box. The thing is only real tiny.
Oh, does it attach to your phone?
It attaches to my phone.
Oh, cool. That's pretty nifty. That's pretty cool. So what are you going to use that for?
I will use that I'm going to use that to read my hives. Now I got to get a new phone because my phone is
too old.
Well, it's the device where you plug the cord in to charge it it's getting to the point where I'm having a hard time charging my phone. So hopefully maybe in the next, I don't know whether I'll do it this week or not. Maybe I want to get a new phone, and that way the camera will work. I watched Phil the Bee Man up there in Manitoba, and he compared this camera. It's called what is it called? It's called the Thermal Master camera, and he compared it with a flare. The thing that I liked about it was that it is Android compatible. Everything else I've ever looked at was iPhones, and I don't use an iPhone. And his video showed the clarity of the camera to be really sharp, much sharper than flare.
Really?
Yeah. Now, Steve, in the Homestead Avenger there, do you have the same model as I have? I mean, you see, it sound like to me that you have this one, the thermal camera 2, I think it's called. So I got it for less than it was $189, cheapest video or flare camera that I've ever seen
Got a
on the
question
market.
for you, Charlie. Do you own that boat?
Boat,
Yeah.
that old camper back there.
No, BOAT, something that floats on the water.
No, I don't own a boat.
No, you know what boat stands for?
I don't know,
Break,
hole in the water.
break out another 1,000. You're
Okay.
beekeeping. That's why I haven't gotten into it. It's like bloody expensive. You're like, and then you can always like buy these newfangled gizmos like you just did, like
Yeah.
more money being spent. That's why I haven't got into beekeeping.
No.
Partly. The other part is I'm lazy. It's too much work.
I'm looking here for a minute. Andrew at Tiny Creek. I use a GoPro camera. It's a Go Pro 9 at the time. And I think they're up to Pro 12 or 14 right now. That and a tripod. And I also use an external, I use the media mod, as they call it. It wraps around the camera, and I hook my microphone to that, wireless microphone, my Rode wireless mic.
I'll be right back. The dog's going.
All right.
Okay, come on. Let's go outside.
And I also have, I think it's like an external screen. It hooks to the top of the media mod where you can see yourself better. That's what I'm using when I'm doing my videos. So that might help you out. If you're going to get into it. Yeah, the Rode microphone system, I got the one. It has 2 microphones and 1 wireless receiver. You're looking at $300. There's Mr. Todd.
Hey,
Glad to see you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Oh, he's in. I'm going to drop, guys. Have fun, guys.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Let me grab my phone down, or my camera.
You need to graduate to an iPhone, Charlie. That's all I got to say.
Oh, heck with them damn thing. Now,
take the training wheels off and go to the Apple store and buy yourself one.
yeah, and then it's always upgrading and doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is what I got, the GoPro 9. It's been working good for me.
Well, that's good.
And let's see. I forget who was asking about this. The tiny, Andrew. Here's the media. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's the media mod. It wraps around the camera.
Oh, okay.
And then this is an extension. I can see myself in this. It's only about 2 inches square. I can position the camera by using this larger screen on top of the media mod. It all hooks to this. You got to have this to really for it to all work. This plugs into the media mod. Your wireless Rode mics, the wireless receiver plugs into the media mod. So it all connects into that thing. It's a pain about taking it apart and putting batteries in it and all that. I'll have to agree with that for sure. If they would come up with something better than what happened. What happened to that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And anyway, that's what I use, Andrew. And I've been using it for what, 2 years, I guess, at least.
Yeah.
Doesn't overheat. There's a lot of folks who talk about that. Hey, Matt. Yeah, now Steven says he's got a thermal camera and it paid because he's doing cutouts and stuff. Yeah, you know, if you're doing cutouts, having a thermal camera, an image camera, or having a camera that's handheld that just does thermal imaging is a must in that thing.
Yeah. Well,
Randy, I'll get you the link here. I bought it direct from the company, and let me see if I can find it. Miller bees.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got a nice little rain shower here yesterday.
Did you?
It rained most of the day. Yeah, it was nice. Then today it was foggy. Couldn't see more than 30 feet in front of you. I was driving down the road. Couldn't see anything. But that's what happens. Got some snow up in the mountains too, which is nice. That's the water bank. And as long as they can keep it from getting into the ocean, we'd be doing pretty good.
Yeah, I got the
What are you doing down there?
Huh?
What are you still trying to find that link?
I got it.
Oh, okay. My oldest daughter fixed my website. I had a little issue with it. It's up and going again. DC says, yeah, there is more on the way. I saw that forecast this morning. I don't know if I'm trying to catch a cold or not. So if I lose my voice, that's the reason why, I think.
Well, you're right. I must have got it on sale. It was 60. It was 60. It's $249.
Jeez.
And I got it for $189.
Huh.
I'll put it in the link in the thing. Yeah, I'm glad I got what I got then. There's the link of it to go to see the thing, but it is $249 now. It had $60 off.
Wow.
Oh, well.
Wow.
So anyway, at least I got something decent finally, as far as a good price.
Yeah.
And all that. Where's Bob at? Is he in and out tonight? There's Scott. Hey, Scott. Merry Christmas. Come on in, Scott. See what you're doing up your way.
Well, I tell you, it's cold. It's
how cold is it out in California?
Well, it's relative to what everybody else has, but it's 42 right now. but I don't think it got past 50 today. Never did see the sun.
No, it was cloudy here today, probably around, let's say 38 degrees, something like that. It's 32 right now. What was it? I guess it was Tuesday a week ago. It was about 60 degrees. And then from that point on, that's when I vaporized in the evening.
Yeah.
And got them all vaporized up because I figured, well, this Saturday I'll be kind of back on. I was several days late in vaporizing. Should have been done the weekend before, but it was too cold. And then I'm doing it every 2 weeks and about twice a month. And I'll do it this coming weekend before Nobby. And that'll give me two vaporizers in this month.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brian, it's small. It's smaller than what I thought it was. Man, it's like teeny. And but the price was right. And it was, and Phil up there showed on his videos, I said, well, the clarity is really nice. So and all that. So that's why I bought it. So we'll see what happens now since I got it. And all that. So
are you, I forgot, did you do Apigard this year?
No, I didn't. I had Aprivar that I had bought it. Well, I actually bought it through what's it called? Folks out of Louisiana. The one that I have my bee suit with.
Foxhound or
Foxhound. I'm saying Beagle Dog, but that's not it. And so I had a great price on it, and I went ahead and I said, well, I got to use it, you know.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and used it because it was hot.
Well,
no, Brian, I haven't. I got to get my video or my phone updated because it's the plug that I use to charge it is hit and miss, and of course the phone or the camera does not work in it yet, but it is made for Android. So I got to get something new there. I don't know whether to get it, try to get it new. You know, you try to get a brand new phone, and then, you know, you're right on top of Nobby. I'm not sure if I want to do that right now. I can still get it charged. It's just a nuisance trying to get it charged, but we'll see. I want to do maybe some live stuff at the dinner on Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to be heading to St. Louis in February.
Yeah, I seen that on a video.
So
I sound like a very nice time. I would like to go to that myself, but if I was going to go there, I think I would probably fly.
But it should be fun. It should be fun. I was I was talking. I don't know. Have you tried that fondant recipe that Matt came up with?
No, I don't do fondant.
No, okay.
I
years
past I bought 50-pound blocks of fondant through the Bee Club, and I found it to be sticky and messy, and you got to sit there and try to slice and dice it and try to roll it out flat. And the one thing about Hive Live fondant is that it does actually work a whole lot better in the packaging where you leave that on there.
Yeah.
And it does not dry out. As soon as that stuff dries out, bees will not eat it.
Yeah.
And I threw a lot of that stuff out in the darn grass a lot of times. And yeah, hot knife works night. Well, it might do DC, but it's like people making their own pollen patties. I tried that too. And that was a lot of extra work and trying to use a great big, I had to drill. I mean, I'm talking about a big belly drill, as I call it. That's corded with, it's got two handles on it like that, like a jackhammer.
Yeah.
And the ones that jerks right around your hand and all that good stuff.
Break your
and
arms
all that. And I'm like, man, this, So then it's like through Nobby, that's one thing I did here. Hey, Bruce, hanging out with us tonight. It was a good show you put on.
Well, I made that fondant, and it took me 2 times to get it right. But the funny thing is that the one batch kind of hardened up on me. I poured it out into the pan. I barely made it in time. It was like, that quickcrete. If you don't get what you want, it's patted down or whatever, forget it. Well,
is it sort of like a liquid type of stuff almost?
It's gosh, what is it? It's more like a real thick applesauce, super thick. And anyway, you get it in the pans. You put parchment paper down on the bottom. You get it in the pan, and then the idea is to take like a pizza cutter, and you start cutting, rows and stuff, and making chunks. And then what you do is you slide those chunks into, Ziploc baggies, whatever size you want. And so that's what I did. But I had some that hardened up on me, and I thought, what in the world? So I got my refrigerator heater box going right now. So I threw all of that stuff that hardened up on me in there while they were in the bags, and I'll be danged if they didn't soften up. They're pliable as you could get. So I just took a knife, I cut an escape hatch on one side of the bag and put that in the hive. And I added some of Mamet's. It's called Bee Agra, and it's basically like a Apis biologics, and threw that in there. And so we'll see what happens. See if they get perked up. I know I'll notice if that stuff perks them up, because nothing else is on them right now. So it'll be interesting to see. I looked on them or in them yesterday morning because I had to go out to the farm and feed the dog. They were already attacking it, and I had put it on the day before.
Right.
So
I want to say hi to Joey who dropped in, and Beekeeping Bro says add 20% honey to the fondant recipe. It'll not go dry out, won't dry out on you. And all that. And Norman, he was just dropped off. He will be there Saturday, checking it out. Let's see if Mark's going to come in. I need to ask him a question.
DC's asking about almonds. I think almonds are going to be all right. It's the commercial guys that are going to be hit hard this year, apparently.
I don't know. I heard some different problems there.
They got from what I've heard, they have major losses in some areas. Like
as far as 60, bees?
Yeah, 60, 70% losses. So
is that going to be the new killer of bees coming from the West Coast?
Yeah, who knows? But I don't think Mark's going to make it.
I don't know.
He's got to get that hamster to run faster.
He's trying to maybe have to hit the button again or something.
Oh, if he's in his shop, he's got one area he could sit in. It seems.
Yeah, it's just dropped back out. Maybe hit it again.
Yeah. And then the pollen patties, Charlie, you should do the pollen patties. That stuff's simple.
I got 20 pounds of the stuff that came in. That's a good price on pollen patties. Yeah, Bruce. I would buy it before I would make it. As far as, hey there, Bracken. But I can't see the price for Hive Alive. I mean, it's a lot of bucks. And I don't know. For me, I'll sit there and mix up
Apis.
40 gallons of
Yeah.
2-to-1 sugar water. And I mean, when I get done filling my hives up in the fall, they're filled good enough for the rest of the summer or the rest of the winter.
Yeah, I'm waiting for probably beginning of February. Well, middle of February, whenever it's warm enough. Start feeding them. I'm going to put the Apis to them. Crank them up again. Get them cranked up.
Well, Bruce, you'll have to hook up with Bracken since you know him there, and he can get you hooked up right with the right kind of beekeeper brokers out there in California. The only thing is you got to get him out there. That's the biggest problem. But yeah, I mean, I got 20 pounds of the pollen. What's it called?
The global patty.
Global patties with Apis in it.
Yeah.
And not that I really use them that much, but I did use them. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I'm learning my what would you call it? Floral, the season. I was always waiting too late to put stuff on. And for me, you need to throw them on in February because come March, the maples will take and start blooming, and they shut down on them things.
Yeah.
And all that.
Well, you always have whatever source you want them to get into. You always got to count backwards by 6 weeks, 7 weeks. And that's when you start hitting them with pollen patties and sugar water to get them going. And then those bees will, by the time whatever's blooming in six weeks after that point, will be foragers, and they'll be out running around. So
yeah, maybe I need to get them back from. Maybe I need to get in there about if you say let's say 6 weeks. Maybe I need to get in there like the last week of January if I get a decent day, and throw them in there. And
but so you're just saying you want them to hit the maple bloom?
Well, the maple bloom kind of hits in March for me. When that hits, they don't take the pollen patties. They won't eat them.
Yeah.
So if you're saying 4 to 6 weeks, I want to put them in there by the end of January, 1st of February.
Well, I'm just doing the bee math. So 6 weeks is basically what is that? Oh gosh, I can't even do the math in my head. I'm so tired right now. But when that queen starts laying 6 weeks later, all those bees are foraging. So if you get your field force up, you're gonna have more collectors going out. So
there he comes. There he is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, we figure the bees are going to be laying in late January, early February anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Mark, I got a question for you. I seen you said something in a chat here. I don't know what night it was, but you were talking about Apricot, and you mixed sugar with it. It's and why did you do that? They take it better or something, or what?
Well, Charlie, what I found is, if they didn't take it, it crystallized on that card.
Okay.
And then them crystals would just lay there and do nothing. So to prevent that, I just dump a little sugar in with it. I just squirted out on the card and dumped a little sugar right on top.
All
What
right,
I
so
done.
so when you put AprilGuard on, throw the 25 grams on, let's say, and then you take a handful of granulated
Yeah,
sugar and sprinkle that into
yeah,
the gel, and
right,
then
yeah,
they'll jump on it better.
right. I found it wasn't crystallizing as bad, you know. Um, I just took a little shaker thing that wife's got in the house, just pour it on there, dump some on it.
That's
Yeah.
a new one. I haven't heard of
I
that one.
guess I guess the bees do they actually eat that stuff, or they just kind of
I don't know, Charlie. I really don't know, but it
Drag it.
spreads it out faster. Seems like, you know.
Mhm.
Just spread it all over.
Okay, put a layer of sugar on top of it.
Yeah, yeah. Seemed to work for me. I guess
Right.
you could use honey too. I reckon. You know, if you wanted to.
Wow.
When it crystallizes, it's not doing nothing. It's no good, really. You know.
Yeah, I had somebody was here talking somebody was telling me about that. It was oh, it was Brian from the Cajun Homestead that some
Brad.
of those the hives that he was treating with those tremendous amount of mite drops out of OA. One of them was one of the hives where they made they encapsulated it with propolis, and then other ones they just wouldn't touch it. Like they said, it was crystallized, like you said, and they wouldn't do nothing with it. And then mite load, went off the charts. And I told him, I said, you need to hit them like 3 days in a row, every 3 days, in order to get those mite loads down and all that stuff. So I'm definitely want to try my AprilGuard this year. I'm going to try to get it done in July, which is try to find some 90-degree days or less, 85, let's say, and put a half dose on. Maybe I'll throw some sugar on it and see how it'll work for me. So, I mean, the biggest thing was for me, I did AprilGuard this year. The bee inspector was here doing the National Honeybee Survey. She said, are you going to back this up with something else? I said, sure am. I said, within 3 days, I'll be putting on Formic Pro, which was the 2nd of September, I think it was, Labor Day. The weather was perfect for that for 2 weeks. And the mite drop was a lot. And you could all see mites in the drone brood that was in the hives at that time. So, the AprilGuard. And then I got the paperwork back here a month or so ago. And it was like for 300 bees, it was like a 10. It was 3 point something bees per 100 with 3 threes or 9, but it's figured 10, almost 11 bee drop out of 300 bees. It didn't do anything. It stayed on there for 6 weeks and really didn't do the job. Pretty much proved it, or they proved it at the laboratory. So, that's why I'm switching over to that. Hopefully I can. And it's like anything else. It's something new for me. And it was like Darren from the Pennsylvania Beekeeper. He was new. Formic Pro was new for him. And kind of understanding the parameters as far as temperature and humidity. And I've been using it for several years and I haven't had any negative results with it as far as queen losses, but I've always made sure the temperatures were 80 degrees or less and humidity was low. And that's why I use it in September. I know my weather conditions, most cases. So how's everything out your way? You're obviously, well, I guess it's pretty cold out there where you're at in Tennessee.
It's raining right now.
Really?
But it ain't very cold.
No. It's supposed to be rain's supposed to be hitting me Sunday, and it's supposed to be in the 50s and all that. So we'll see what
yesterday happens. It was pretty out. Yesterday I got in some bees yesterday checking weights.
Well, I came home yesterday. It would it snowed in the morning, but I think it was like around 40 some degrees. I think, well, actually the truck said 45 degrees around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, man, I really should need, maybe I need to go out there and hit some OA and the thing. But I said, you know, the time frame hadn't been long enough, you know, which Saturday is supposed to be good for that. And, I just thinking here, what I should have done was went out there and scraped all my, chloroplast boards, examine them, see what the mite drop was. Most of my hives are not having any mite drops now. I did have a few 10 framers out there still popping down some mites and stuff like that. And then something I've been watching Brian Cooper down there in Memphis, you know, and he's got those hives with those glass clear see-through tops.
Yeah, I've been watching that.
Yeah, I really like them. And he sent me the link for it. And so I ordered myself 3 of them. And I talked to David, who makes them, I guess, from Beetle Jail, I think it is. And I asked him, I said, can we get rid of the wooden notch? Because I do condensing hives, no upper entrances and stuff like that. And then he asked me, do I want the hole in the plexiglass in the center? Same thing as like the let's see, what is it? Yeah, it's beetlejail.com. And I said, no, not really. I wanted to use them in the wintertime just for observation. So I got 3 of them coming without the wooden upper notch and no hole in the middle of the plexiglass and all that. Night, Bruce. And so that'll be interesting. I want to put them on the high. I want to try to get out there maybe this winter and find a decent day where I can pop off the inner cover and put them on. And I got my insulation on top of the hives this year for the first time. That seems to be working well. I got one hive out there. I don't know whether it's, I think it's closer to the barn or where it's that yellow hive behind me there. It's up towards the barn. And I went out there and it was about, I don't know, 40 degrees, something like that. And there was a wad of bees out there. I said, man, that hive is definitely jamming in there as far as, you know, amount of bees inside the hive. And then there was a few other ones that were kind of like that, but most of them were inside. You know, you didn't see any evidence of any bees and all that. So
yeah, I got one hive. I went out there and it was light, and I was like, oh. I opened it up, and hive beetles come running out everywhere.
oh geez.
So, and it was a double deep, and I know it was my fault. It was one of them that got left behind, didn't get fed or nothing happened to it, you know, and I pulled all the honey off of it, and there it sat. So it got weak, and so I just started shaking frames and killing hive beetles, and went through that process, got some honey on them. Got to thinking about it, and I thought, well, I'm gonna go back out there tomorrow, and I'm gonna pull all them boxes. I'm gonna put them in a nuke, put some honey in there with that nuke, and then shake some bees in there with them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll be all right then. But they're just about overrun with beetles now. So put a beetle trap in. I'm trying out them beetle traps that Mike Berry was talking about. They're green.
Yeah.
They're reusable. So I bought, I think, 75 of them, 50 of them, something like that. I can't remember.
That many of them?
Yeah, they're like about the same price as them throwaway ones, you know. So just see what happens. I put Dalmatius earth in them. I just don't have no luck with that. I think oil works a lot better. I hate using oil, but it does work better. And I have found out that you could take a piece of banana peel and put down in there. They say it attracts them in there a little better. I'm gonna try that. Just like dice me up some banana peels and throw in each one of them, and then put a little oil in there and try it. I'll try that next year. It's too late now.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I got one or two hives out there when I'm doing vaporize, and you can see some beetle droppings, like 3 or 4 of them in there, And normally I don't see beetles in my hives at all.
oh, we got them bad this fall. I mean, this whole area, everybody around here is like, man, did you get hive beetles? I'm like, yeah, I got them. I think the drought had a lot to do with it. We had rain earlier, and it seems like when more rain we get here, the less beetles we see.
Really?
But then when we have a drought, it's like they come out of the woodworks just overnight. And it don't matter how strong the hive is, they're going to get hive beetles. Now, the strong ones can keep them at bay, but they just seem to be everywhere. So I'm just going to try to stay on top of them this year. I've got probably 20 bags of salt that I'm fixing to start soaking in water. It's softener salt for water softener. And I'm going to soak that in a 5-gallon buckets. I'm going to start drenching the ground everywhere. Get everything ready for that,
Right.
Try to get rid of them this year, much as I can.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually use carpet underneath my hive stands, but it's getting rotten and worn out, and I need to find what is it, that ground cover? I think landscapers use it. It lets the water
Weed barrier.
through. Is it
Yeah,
weed
see,
barrier?
me and Todd had that talk, and I'm totally against that.
Really?
I am. It's a place for ants. It's a place for the beetles. It's a perfect habit for them underneath there. It's shaded. They get under there, stay cool in the summer. They can raise all their little ones. It's just you're laying out the perfect breeding place for them. So I quit doing that. Totally just quit doing it. I don't want nothing laying underneath my hives. I put pallets down, but there's nothing underneath the pallet.
Yeah, I just use it for fire protection.
Yeah. Sometimes you just about have to, like if you're out in a field or something, or grass will just take you completely away. It's understand, but I try not to do that. Just
I don't have problems with beetles right now. I don't want to jinx myself, but I've about had it with ants.
I know you have.
A freaking ant.
I did see somebody that they actually used some metal roofing underneath the hives, and I said, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's a pretty good idea too."
I've done that too. I've got old barn metal laying around and stuff. I've tried that. It worked. But there again, what are you creating underneath it? It's
I guess I'll have to put some. I've got some. What do you call it? Grub-X in here. Sprinkle that down a little bit.
Grub-X, salt. Keep the salt down. That keeps your grass down. Fermented sugar water will kill grass. You don't have to use spray, if you don't want to spray anything. Of course, I use Roundup around my hives. I don't get it in my hives, but I use it around my hives when it gets bad. If I've got any like fermented sugar that I hadn't used, put that around your hives. That'll kill the grass too.
Richard says rattlesnakes. I don't have no rattlesnakes around here.
We've got them, not bad, but we've got a few.
Yeah.
We've got copperheads.
Yeah. No, I just
if anybody has an aardvark or an anteater that they want to loan me, that would be great. I could really use one this summer.
Yeah.
Hey, Philip.
I usually keep my ground treated with, that Grub-X and stuff. I'd caught a swarm back earlier, and I set it over yonder where the ground hadn't been treated. I got noticing mole trails coming from everywhere, going right up underneath that hive. Them moles is going up there and getting them grubs from them beetles. I just left them alone.
Yeah, they're on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll put some Roundup around my hives.
Yeah.
But Yeah, it like I say, I don't normally like I say when it comes to hive beetles, if I see 2 or 3, that's a lot for me and all that.
Yeah, consider yourself lucky because they are a nuisance.
Yeah.
You
Matt
know,
says,
I think it's we talked about this before. It's got something to do with the soil too. I have hard pan. I mean, it's concrete for 3 feet. You know, uh, and I think that's what the only way they could get in the ground in the summertime is, it gets dry enough where it just cracks, and they
Yeah.
could get in the ground that way, but they have nowhere to go because it's hard as a rock down past that too. So
We have a lot of clay, Todd. In fact, you could go out and get a bucket of dirt just right off the top and fill it up with water and let the clay settle and drain that out and play with the clay just like it would out of the store. That's how much clay is here. The water just don't hardly seep down into the ground, very good.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
I'm thankful that I don't have to deal with those right now, but I know eventually there'll be some here and there, some way. I mean, there's no way that not one beetle has come across from Florida to California in February or in December. I mean, they're around. I just don't have them in my area, so I'm thankful.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is just stay diligent with them and just keep trapping, keep your ground treated, and just stay diligent with it. Use them towels; they work great. They help when you
what
ain't got
towels?
nothing else.
What towels is that, Mark?
What do they call them? Swiffer,
Oh, Silver
non-scented
Sea?
Swiffer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They work well. I mean, it's better than nothing. Uh, like I said, large colonies keep them at bay, but boy, they find a weak one, they'll rip havoc on it quick. And the worst thing about it here is your honey harvest. You bring honey in, you better get that honey done because them beetles will get into the honey quick. You'll come into the shop and there'll be honey all over the floor, and you're like, "What in the world?" And the beetles have done got it. That's burnt. It's gone.
Hmm.
Oh, I got to where when I get my honey, I I'm blowing them out, blowing the bees out. I blow the beetles out too at the same time now. I up my ante on the blower, got me a little more power, so it'll blow everything out of there now. That way I'm not bringing them into the shop.
Yeah, Phil, the title says Christmas Eve. I guess I had it in my mind Christmas evening. Oh well.
Yeah, I'm out here been playing with my new Christmas present.
What'd you get?
I got me a new DeWalt toolbox.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm putting drills and screws and drill bits and getting everything set up to where, like, when I need a drill now, I can just go grab that box. It's got everything I need. Well, it's handy. Mama got that for me. Well, Santa Claus got that for me.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. You must have been good.
Well, you know what that means? That means there's more honeydews, right? Come down the channel somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Build this, build that.
Yeah.
Anyway. So anyway, that's what's been happening here. Kind of getting through the holiday thing. And like I say, then next week I'll be traveling out to Kentucky. We'll see how that goes. So I hear, didn't you get a new extractor, Mark? I heard.
Yeah, I got one coming.
You got one coming?
Yeah. I got to speed things up. This year, it was, I was extracting honey right around Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
It's just I got to speed it up here. And
Yeah.
of course, I didn't feel bad because I went and visited the guy that's got 1,500 hives, and he was just finishing up, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So, I didn't feel so bad when I was hearing him.
Well, how was he holding the darn honey, to extract like that without getting beetles or whatever into it?
He's leaving it on the hive, I'm sure, and going and getting it as he needs it.
I think
About
didn't
all
you
you
get
could do.
Mark or Brian wants to know the make and model. Did you get a Hilco? Did you?
Yeah, I got a 34 frame Hilco.
Nice.
I wanted the bigger one, but it won't fit in my shop, so I just went with that one. I think that'll do all I want to do. I'll be lucky if I can keep up with that. I'm gonna try next year to get me an uncapper.
You could have cut it in half, Mark, and get it through the door.
Yeah, I cut the door out. Ain't no big deal.
You could cut the extractor in half like Robert.
Cut the extractor.
Robert would do that, right? Right, Tom?
Yeah. Make it a 16 framer, 17 framer, something.
Well,
Whatever.
he cut a Talon 60 in half to get it in his door.
Yeah.
That's what he says. And all that.
But that'll help me a little bit next year. And then if I can get me an uncapper, the main thing, I've got to get some 220 hooked up. This year, my main goal right now is I got to finish some drain lines, get them plumbed out to where they're draining like they need to be, and then work on some 220. And then I'll bring me an uncapper in.
Yeah, Flower Street's going to look for uncapping options. I know that I was listening to Hilco, and they were talking about basically like that Harmony uncapper, but it's got, I'll say, steam in the rollers and stuff. I didn't impress me any.
I like the one like Tom and Melissa's got.
I like, yeah, when you got a license like that where you got those knives and you're slicing those caps off, I still say that's the way to go.
That's a game changer once you get everything set right the way you want it, get it screwed down. I think it'll be a game changer. I'm wanting to change things up a little bit. In my mind, I don't know if it'll work, but in my mind, I don't really want the vat, but I may just go with the vat. I don't know, but I'm thinking about the one that's got the screw in the bottom of it. Do away with the screw and put a vat going the other way. That way the frames are coming down through here and the cappings are going down through there.
Mm-hmm.
And then put the extractor over here. That way I've got a place there I can separate my honeys, right? If I've got one type of honey, it's going into the extractor over here. And this one here is lighter. I'm gonna keep it over here, right? And then I can put that in a smaller extractor to keep it separated. Yeah. And then I want my drain vat to where I could take like a little stainless steel shovel and scoop them out with a shovel and go right into my wax melter. Instead of having to grab a handful or a tray full and then dump them in, I want it to where I can chop them up with a shovel where they drain good, scoop them in.
Hey,
so it's got to have a good flat with a bunch of holes in it where it drains, where that shovel will slide across there. Instead of, it'll just make it easier to load everything in.
Well,
I don't know if that idea will work. That's what my goal is right now. It's where I want to be.
I kind of like, I know Tom and Melissa have that clarifier, then they pump over into the 55-gallon drum, and then he's going to buy one of those screens that fits on top of a 55-gallon drum.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad needs a brew paddle. You says you need a brew paddle. Okay. I guess that's one of those. I like the idea with Brad and Doug up there, where they do have a clarifier. Kind of gets most of the bulky of the wax out, but then they have a settling tank where they let that stuff settle, kind of like Mr. Ed down there. If you got a lot of volume of honey and stuff like that.
Well, I don't run a large
nice
volume.
bulk.
I'm running probably 2,500 pounds to
You got a lot of
3.
volume there.
That's not a lot, really. That really ain't.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that on weekends. So when I drag stuff in here, it has to be done by Sunday evening. So I don't know whether I want to leave a tank sitting here, full of honey for the next weekend, because you got ants and everything else going to get into it. So you got to keep it covered good. I don't know whether I want to keep that around, because you're talking about 15 or 20 gallons just to fill that thing up.
Right. You mean that
So,
clarifier?
right.
Yeah, I see. That's where I'm at. I don't do enough batching to fill that thing up with 15 gallons of honey.
Yeah.
And I don't. That's where a clarifier wouldn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
But you need, if you're going to run a pump into drums, you got to clarify it, or you're going to burn your pump up.
Yeah, you're
Plain and simple. Or you can spend the money and get a low pump, but I can't afford something like that. It's too much for my blood. You're talking about $5,000 just for the pump.
No, it's not for me.
No.
I do small batches at a time, and I just use a bucket strainer, and I know it's a pain, but I might do a couple batches, which will be a bucket, maybe 2 buckets in an evening, and that's it. That's all I'll do, and then I'll work on it every evening, to where I get that group of so many supers, and then I'll go back out to the bee yard and pull in another 20 or 30 supers, or 20, let's say 15 to 20 supers, depending on how much it is, how much help I got. Luckily, here in the last couple of years, I got my friend Scott. He helps me out getting our supers into the house, and then he uses my equipment too, so it works out well.
The perfect scenario is if you could use gravity and set your extractor higher than your drum. You wouldn't have to worry about all that, and then you could just let it settle in your drums and clean that off, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be the perfect scenario. I think I've seen somebody do that. I can't remember who it was now.
I had a friend of mine up here. He bought one of them clarifiers from Hilco, and kind of like what you're saying, he had I haven't seen his building yet, but he had bought a new house for him, and there was an outbuilding which he turned into his honey house. And the way I understand it, his extractors up on higher up or something like that. Anyway, he takes the buckets of honey coming out of the extractor that are not filtered, and he pours it into the clarifier and lets it clarify that way. And then I don't know if he filtered, and as it's coming out of the clarifier, maybe he's using a bucket filter to get all the fines out of it or something. I'm not sure, but that's a lot of lifting. He's young, a lot of lifting.
Yeah, I'm not getting no younger, Charlie. The less lifting I can do, the better off it's going to be.
My shoulders get to hurting anymore, it seems like, and all that if I do a lot of lifting or pushing or whatever. And all, but I just stick with my 18 frame extractor, and everything's paid for, and I do it.
Yeah, 18 with what you got, about 30 hives?
Yeah, I got about 16. Well, yeah, with 24 up to 28 hives, I'll have.
Yeah,
16 10 framers and about 12 nukes, which I'll put queen excluders on them. They build wax for me on frames, and they will actually, if the flow's on, they will pack honey away. I think I had 25 or 30 5 frame boxes, and some of those boxes I went and put 4 frames in, so they would draw that wax out, and they actually draw the wax out in them little nukes better than they did on the 10 framers. Even it was
I did that this year, and I think I'm gonna change this things up as far as building cones for honey goes. You know, I would take and drop 1, 2 in each box, right, and push them all together where they.
I tried
I
that.
took up too much time because I'd have to go back and then space them back out. I think what I'm going to do is just put them on my little colonies that are building up and let them build a whole box of them at a time. Is what I'm going to do. Just whatever I get built out, I get built out, and just run 9 frames in these and set them on, and that way I ain't got to go back, touch nothing.
Well, I went and like I said, I did them in nukes this year, and I'm like, and they had some drawn out, they drawed out some, and then I pulled a frame out and then spaced them out with my fingers, and then they started bringing them out. And I'm like, well, shoot, that's better in the nukes than it is in the 10. Like you say, putting 9 frames in a 10 frame box. I can't get them to draw it out. They bridge comb it all the time.
Well, they were drawing it out. It's just that fact of having to go back and space everything back out and pull one out and all that. It's just, that's a day's work for me, just having to do all that, so I'm going to drop that. I'm just going to start putting new foundation on these nukes where I run my triples, my queen castles. In other words, I'll put a queen excluder on them, leave 2 queens in, put a brand new box foundation in there, and I'll go over to one of these colonies and grab a frame where they've already started putting nectar, put it right in the middle, let them build a whole box, and then use that for the next year.
Yeah, because the downside of like the automatic encapper, like Melissa and Tom have, you got to have that wax drawn out in order for it to cut it off efficiently. And I just haven't got that. I haven't got the bees to do that for me a lot of cases. Some of them I had one frame that was like, about a 1/2 inch thick on the, it was like super fat. It was like, I wish I had all those combs like that. It'd be great.
Yeah. I weighed 1 medium this year, big old fat one, and it weighed 7 pounds. 1 medium frame. That's a big medium frame.
It was I had one as big old medium frame on it. It was about that wide, at least an inch wider on both sides. I was like, man.
Yeah. I like 9 frames in a 10 frame box. That works pretty good, or 7 frames in an 8 frame. It works pretty good, but I don't like putting a foundation in them. It works. It's just extra work, in my opinion.
Right.
I can build them out another way.
Yeah, it's just, last year I had some nukes, I don't know. I was, last year I'm selling hives and then getting the rebuild up with new queens and stuff. And I was like, man, I should have put more honey supers on the rest. I should have just put honey supers on everything, whether it be, nukes or whatever. And that's what I should have done. And I didn't do that. Now this coming year I will. Hey, Bracken.
What's up,
Hey
Bracken?
guys, how are you? What's up? Todd, Mark.
Are you in
Charlie?
the library?
I'm good, Bracken. How are you, buddy?
I'm not bad.
Y'all have a good Christmas?
Yeah, as good as it was waited all month for it, and then it was over in 15 minutes. So.
Yeah.
Then you got the mess to clean up, right?
Yeah, the kids loved it. So I still got young kids, so it's okay.
They were like, "Is there any more presents?"
Yeah, I told my one son, I says, "You're gonna have to open a present every hour. Just one an hour to make this last." Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
I
What do
played
you-
Santa Claus last night to a bunch of little kids, and boy, some of them little bitty ones, their eyes got that big. It's like, oh, what is that?
I miss those days when my daughters used to wake me up at like 5 a.m. Hey, it's Christmas, Dad. Get up.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
come back in an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kids are fun. Mark, where are you from?
I'm from Tennessee. I live at northwest corner of Tennessee, a little town called Union City. It's off of Highway 51 or I-69. I'm right off of I-69.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mark's a mighty fine queen breeder.
Oh, sweet.
Well, I try what time I have, right?
He's are you still working with Corey there, Mark?
Well, I hadn't done much this year. We did a little bit of trading early in the year. And of course, we all get busy and stuff. But yeah, I've got probably 20 of his latest. That was the first part of this year. And I hope to get about 20 more, 10 or 20 more of his latest this next year. I started out with breeder queens of his and loaded my yard down with F1, done some trading and back and forth. And I did keep my bees that I'd had for years that I've been selecting, over and over and over. They requeen themselves good. They make honey. They're gentle. And oh boy, I've noticed a big difference in all of them now. So it's just a cycle that's got to keep going. It's nothing that's going to happen overnight, So but this year, one treatment and zero feed. So I've not fed nothing for winter this year. I ain't got to. They're frugal enough. They'll make it on their own. They're heavy as bricks right now. They ain't used nothing. So
You use singles or doubles?
double deep tens.
Double deeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Bracken, he's been on. Well, I guess this past summertime, and what was it? I know you were doing 240 frame grafts in one hive. I think it was something like that, or 230s.
Well, if the nectar flow is on and everything's right, I'll throw 50 or 60 grafts in a great big double deep 10 loaded down with bees and plenty of pollen and nectar flow coming in. I'll load it down. Then now when it starts backing off, I'll back off. It just depends on what the situation's like. But yeah, sometimes though, Charlie, I mean that's good. Sometimes it's not. It just depends on that day how good I feel, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was quite impressed. I mean, you pulled them frames up out of those hives. He was live, Bracken, in the yard. And I mean, you had 90 some percent success rate at least, maybe
What's your
close to
channel?
100. He doesn't have a channel. You don't have a channel. No, you don't, Mark. You don't
Oh,
have a
you don't have
channel.
a channel?
I just don't have time, Bracken.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, makes
He's
sense.
I drive a truck for a living, and the bees are more of a hobby, right? I make a little bit off of them. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't, but
Yeah.
I don't make enough to survive.
That's how I am. Mine's
Yeah.
not full time.
Yeah, but now this year, if I come on live, Charlie, hopefully if time works out and everything, I've got a neighbor that's got 1,500 hives, and he's wanting me to produce sales for him this year. So I'm going to have several builders going this year if time lets me sit down and graft like I want to. Now,
I think you had at
I'm
least a couple.
probably going to recruit my wife in here to learn how to graft because I don't think that I can get it all done before dark in one day. We'll just see how it goes.
Right.
But this guy, he can only make so many splits a week, right? He's got helpers. And if he can do 100 splits a week, I believe I can keep up with him. I can do 100 sales a week pretty easy, I think, so. But that's exciting. I can't wait to see how that's going to pan out in his yard and help him. That's going to help this whole area in return. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about, is getting them genetics placed everywhere around here. And I've been working on that now for about 4 years, getting them all around here. I sold about 85 mated queens this year, and I'm not a mated queen guy because that's a lot of work. You ask Todd, I sold virgins, but mated queens is a lot of work. Now, after I got all of mine requeened that I wanted, I started selling some off around here, just local people. I wasn't mailing them out, and I did 85 of them, plus all the sales and stuff that I got going. But that helped, and it's going to help this area getting all that spread. It's just a matter of time. People keep coming back, so they're liking what they're seeing.
That one queen of yours that's washed zeros for a year and a half. She's in a double deep, and man, it is full of bees. And I'm thinking, holy cow. And I broke that down from a triple at the end of, when it started cooling off.
Yeah, they brood heavy.
Oh, yeah, extremely heavy. And then the other ones are doing pretty good. The one that washed a couple of 2s and a bunch of 0s and a few 1s, she's doing okay. She looks more carny than the other ones that I got from you. And I know you weren't doing carnies, but she's a darker Italian.
Yeah, but I have them in my yard, Todd. It's probably some of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's kind of spicy.
Yeah.
So
and I'm gonna tell you why, because it's first time mix. Okay, it's a first time mix. So I've noticed if I bring something in my yard and that first time mix, they come out, they're a little more spicy. It just is. Now that second time around, gentle as it can be.
Wow.
I don't know. It's that hybrid, I guess, about them.
Wow. She still got me a little bit this summer. So.
I quit bringing anything else in. I haven't seen anything that I want to bring in here. I just keep working at what I've got now, other than what Corey's got going on. I'm not interested in anything else. Yeah. Nothing's caught my eye yet. So.
Well, hopefully I'll be grafting off of that one queen that has not had a mite. Well, I'm sure there's a mite or some mites in there, but I have not washed one yet out of that box. So I'll be grafting a few off of her, and I'll be grafting a few off the mean one, and the other ones, it's kind of a toss up, but I'm going to mix it up a little bit. But that one queen that's washing 0s, boy, she's pretty nice and just a brood factory. I mean, unreal. It was unreal this show, wall to wall. And you were right.
When you pull up a frame and there's no honey or no pollen or nothing, it's just all brood. It's like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
And then you just keep pulling them out of there like that.
Well, I took several frames of brood out and gave them to other hives that needed it, because there was no way that that thing probably would have stacked up five deeps this year if I just let her go to town.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's what Bracken needs for out in them almonds out there. Get them class A hives out there.
If you want something that'll brood up and have big hives going out, there you go. That's what you want.
Well, you also told me keep your eye on them because they'll build up quick and then they'll be gone before you know it. And you're kidding. I mean, you turn your back on a colony like that, and the next thing you know, they're
gone,
boiling out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So,
you got to keep them some space to lay.
Yeah. Nuts.
Yep. So
late for you guys, ain't it? 10 o'clock over there?
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock here.
What are you saying?
Todd's past you. He's out in California. Here comes the man from.
It's only 7 my way.
Here comes
you're only
the stranger.
Canadian. There's that Canadian guy.
What
Hey,
is it up
everybody.
there, Bracken? Is it 8 o'clock up there? Bracken?
It's about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's
Brad's
it's 8 o'clock where I'm
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
And
Brad.
Pod, what are you at? About 7:30?
It's
7
7:08. 7:08. Yeah. And it's warmed up to 44 degrees.
Hmm.
Gone up actually. I don't know what the heck's going on. And
Really?
Brad, that would be 7.
So how's Brad doing? I haven't seen you in weeks. I
Is
thought
it,
I thought you were mad at me.
Is it still Christmas Eve in Maryland? It's
No,
been Christmas
it's
Day
not.
here all day.
I guess I didn't have my English right.
Christmas evening is what you're.
I was trying to say Christmas evening chat.
Yeah.
I'm not the
I
best.
didn't even catch that.
I looked at that and I thought, oh, I missed that last night. And then I thought, and then it said it was live, and that's kind of like like a dog that doesn't understand, just kind of.
Yeah, well, what my thinking and what my typing does is two different things sometimes.
Yeah, me too. Well, how's everybody?
Good.
Just been,
I was
just been relaxing and eating too much food here over the Christmas
Fat and
season.
miserable, Brad. Fat and miserable.
Fat and miserable.
Yes.
Well, I'm fat and happy.
Yeah. You didn't eat enough.
I plenty, believe you me. I just finished a piece of that honey apple pie that I make.
Mm.
And the only problem with that stuff, it tastes like another one.
Yeah.
I had a cousin who used to say it tasted kind of musty, and he'd say, "What do you mean it tastes musty? It tastes like I must have another one." And that's what he would say.
Oh my.
Yeah, that goes good with a big scoop of old fashioned vanilla ice cream.
That's
Oh,
exactly
man.
what I had on it, Mark. A big scoop of old fashioned vanilla ice cream.
It just really
Did you
don't
say
get
it
no
was-
better, Brad. It
Did you
don't
say it
get
was
no
apple honey?
Apple. I call it. The kid's got a really long name, and I made the name up. It's because it just describes how I make it. It's deep dish butter crust honey apple pie.
Oh, jeez.
And
Mm.
next week, Wednesday, you'll see the video on how I make it.
What's the other one that you had? The with the walnuts and stuff in it?
Today there was video on the caramels or honey
Caramel, that's it. Yeah.
They're really good too. I can't eat those, but the pie is, it's got fruit and stuff in it, so I guess you can pretend it's good for you. But the caramels is just sugar.
Yeah.
So you got feet of snow up there, Brad, or not?
It's really not too bad here yet. I think I can still drive my half ton out to the back. Without
Your
getting stuck.
Dodge?
I haven't cleared that snow. Well, my Dodge or my Ram, either one. Chevy wouldn't make it though. I'll guarantee
Hey,
it.
Oh,
now,
come
let's start that.
Come on
I'm
now.
surprised that Dodge does.
You make fun of my Chevy all the time.
We're always poking each other about brands.
I've got both. I've got Chevy and Dodge. So
Nice.
Mark's a hybrid then. He's got a Chevy and a Dodge. He's a hybrid.
and I've got a Ford too. So there we go. I'm vehicle Ford.
Gotta have all of them.
How's the kitty weigh all up so much? Norm says the kitties are doing really well. That big fella seems like he's perked up. He's doing quite well. This is Christmas number 19 for those cats.
Damn, I can't believe it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we've got one in there that's 23-year-old, Brad.
Oh,
Holy cow.
Yeah, she
Wow.
still gets around pretty good. Now she's blind and she can't hardly hear.
yeah.
But,
Well, most cats are nearly deaf, or at least they just ignore you.
yeah. Everything around here lives a long time. My wife makes sure of that.
Yeah. Well, we've always tried to give our cats good nutrition and good health care, clean
Yep.
living out here.
That's it. They'll live a long time.
Yeah, they do. Oh, it's good to see everybody.
So how's the have you even looked at the outside bees there as far as out in the snow or?
No, haven't really looked. I was out once a while ago after a big wind, make sure all the lids were on and everything was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just stay out of stuff. I'm, when I've just gotten to that point in the last couple of years that I don't. It's not like watching Ian's video. It's like one
Yeah,
more,
I'm
and then like one more, and then 10 later, it's okay, just 2 more, and then, then another dozen later, it's just one more.
I tell you, the bees are looking good in his place.
His bees are looking really. I was talking to him about that this morning. I said, man, you didn't show one stinker. They're
Yeah, he's
really
ahead
good.
of the game from last year for sure.
Yeah,
In my opinion. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the only concern that I seen was where he was mentioning the ones where they had 2 or 3 frames of just foundation, and whether or not, so many months down the road, whether or not he's going to have to
Yeah,
try to get some feed in there to him or something.
yeah. Any foundation always makes me nervous because that's just no feed, right? So that always makes me nervous to have that. It's happened to me, but I try to be careful that doesn't end up in the brood chamber. I generally don't draw foundation in a brood chamber, so I don't have that problem. I know he does put some foundation in brood chambers, so that can still happen.
Yeah, even the domestic beekeeper says Ian's bees look better than his, and he doesn't even have to worry about winter.
Well, this is what I've learned. I'm just forming this picture, and I think with the winter that we have a lot of advantages over a lot of you guys who are in warmer climates, right? The bees kind of close down and
Yeah.
they just stay there. You guys are talking about feeding bees and brooding bees in the winter and whatnot.
Mhm.
Here it's just certain criteria. You get them fed. If they're healthy, low mites, and they're fed and all that kind of stuff. It's just young queens.
Your queens will probably last longer than ours too, because ours are laid to death by the time winter comes here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where yours is cut off and ready to go for next year.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, even these days, I've had 3-year-old queens that are still producing pretty good. I try not to go more than 2 because they get unreliable.
Yeah, right.
Rather, take control of that situation. Well,
Yeah, they
getting
make
spread.
it halfway through the season and peter out, and you go out there and you ain't got any honey.
Yeah, and you got nothing. You got nothing to work with either, right? You wait until the
Right.
colony is deteriorated and heaven forbid laying workers or something, but you go out there and you've got hardly any brood, and you've got your clusters is diminished and whatnot. Well,
Mhm.
okay, so now you got it. This is I hear more inexperienced beekeepers run into this all the time. It's sort of middle to end of August, and oh, my queen died. What do I do? Well, your queen was 3 years old to start with, so in June you had a 3-year-old queen, so that's the time to get a fresh one.
You're right.
wait-
I found that out the hard way this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
don't wait till it's a problem. Take control of that. And
Well, I
that-
didn't
that-
I didn't
towards the problem.
understand the problem, and then with the help with you and James and everybody, now I understand. Every 2 years, or at least, or maybe every year. I know that Brad from down at the Cajun Homestead, which he's got 3 frames of brood 12 months out of the year down there. And he says that 1 year for a queen, and then if you wait for a second year, that queen will die about halfway through the honey season that second year. So now he's requeening every year because of his situation and where he lives. and all. And that way, and that's what I feel about mine. Hopefully mine will be gangbusters here this springtime with apis and everything in there, and get off of that roller coaster ride, as I call it, where you might have some dead outs, but everybody's going to be kind of up to speed every spring when you need them to be.
That don't seem to be my problem. My problem is staying ahead of them, keep them swarming. Just
Yeah.
boom. Of course, you hope that the young queens ain't going to swarm, but they will.
Now, are you using 1 year queens in your, keeping one, only
I
a
go
year,
every other year.
every
Just
other
about
year?
like everybody else, yeah.
See, you say that, but I think there's a lot of beekeepers out there that don't understand that time schedule and with queens. And I think that's where I keep kind of complaining and preaching and saying, all you people out there that's on these lecture circuits, why aren't you, get up to the intermediate or advanced beekeeper and talk about that situation?
Basically, what I do, Charlie, is I make enough nukes out to where I've got my picks for what's going to go into winter. I know what I've got for the winter, and that's what I'm there put back for the next year's production, basically, or breeders, whichever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year, I've got enough nukes where I pick out what I want to save.
Now, are you putting them in the early spring or late or after the honey season?
After, when I'm picking them, yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the greatest benefits of
people. I'm picking all year, basically, throughout the season. That don't ever stop. Go ahead, Brad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
People who do that OTS system, if you use the system as designed by Mel to the letter, that's one of the greatest benefits of it is the queens are never more than 20 months old. 22 month. No, I shouldn't say 22. 10 months old. The queens are never more than 10 months old. Because he'll get a new queen in July, and then he'll requeen that again in May, and requeen that again in July. So the May queen only lives 2 months, and then the July queen, the new July queen, then gets replaced in May. So you've always got nice fresh queens. Now, my season is a bit more compressed than Mel's, so that's a little bit too tight for me to be able to do it twice.
Well, I met Mel one time. Isn't that kind of, he's more into nuke production than he is honey production with that scenario?
Mel, yeah, that would, he doesn't make his money on honey. He makes it on
nukes.
Bees. He produces bees. So yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons that I can't really do it. It's not, I used it for quite a while and it worked great. And it's a good system for maintaining an apiary size specifically. I found when I'm trying to grow that it was difficult to grow very fast. So that's when I graduated over to grafting.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't because the system didn't work. And boy, when it works, it sure makes nice queens because they're essentially swarm queens. So we all know how those are superior.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the road. I'm kind of throat's scratchy and itchy. I'm kind of tired and worn out. So
okay, well, good to see you.
I gotta go take care of his
See you, Todd.
Yeah. Well,
see you, Todd.
Everyone have a good night. See you later.
All right, we'll see you.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'm out too, boys. My daughter's, I can hear her screaming upstairs. I better go see what she needs.
Hey, Bracken, before you go, I'd like to talk to you personally sometimes. We get time.
Absolutely.
I've heard your story, and it's we have a lot in common. And I'll just keep it at that.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk with you sometimes when we get a chance.
Well, how can we?
Don't mind.
Yeah. Maybe.
Go ahead and you can put your number in the private chat.
I can't do anything on this phone. I'm on my phone, Charlie.
Charlie, do you?
I've got him. I've got.
I can message you, Charlie, and you can pass it to Mark.
That'll be fine. I think. Let's see. Make sure I got Mark's number. I'm sure I do because he calls me occasionally, or I called him. I forget now. Yep, I got it. You got an area code of 731, right, Mark?
Yes, sir.
All right, I got him. Yep. All right, I'll text Bracken your phone
Yeah,
number.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, just text me and we'll try to figure out a time when, because I'm riding down the road, all day and ain't got nobody to talk to. I'd love to talk to you when I got some time, and you got time.
Yeah, well,
Sure
here's the
would.
little one herself.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. Say hi.
That's sweet.
What's her name?
Hi,
Her name's Stella.
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 She looks like a Stella.
She likes Dad's. She says honey is honeybees. Like
Honeybees.
whenever you eat honey or something, Dad, you eating honeybees?
Yeah.
That's your baby doll that you got for Christmas, baby?
Yeah, she did. Oh, she's a hoot. I don't mean to have her take the show. So
All right.
Too late.
Bruce says hi, Stella.
yeah, she's met Bruce. Wave to Bruce. Say hi, Bruce.
All right.
She's not crying now, so. But I'll let you guys go. Good chatting with you, Mark. Get a
All
hold
right.
of me, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Message
Yeah,
me or
goodness.
something.
Glad you came on tonight.
Just-
Appreciate it.
Just shoot me a text, Braxton, anytime you get ready, buddy. Thank
I'll
Okay.
I'll give Bracken your phone number, Mark.
Okay. Brad, good to see you.
Nice to see you, Bracken. Take care. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to y'all. Bye. Say bye. Bye. Say bye. See you
Bye.
later.
you. Bye.
Say Merry Christmas. Say it loud.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Mm.
Can't top that.
I've got grandbabies that age.
Yeah.
Oh my. So you've been in the wood shop, I see on video, Brad, doing stuff like that.
Well, a little bit. Not as much as I should. I kind of been taking some time off. But I'm feeling like I need to get in there and start making some sawdust. So,
Yeah.
It ain't gonna get done
That'll
if
be
you
soon.
don't. Yeah.
Do you
no,
got
it
two-way
ain't gonna
pallets
be
to make
anybody
this
else get it
year?
done. Yeah, not as much, not as many this year, but finally I can build some of my own equipment. I want to build some escape boards for myself at the very
Right.
least. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Just got to get my lazy butt out there. It's just nice to, work like a fool for a few months at the end of the season, and then it's sort of I just collapse and don't want to do anything for a while. And then the cold weather hits, right after that, and then the cold weather hits. You think, I don't want to go out in the cold weather, and I'm not a fan of the real cold weather. So there's just all those excuses. And Christmas comes along, and it's, I don't want to do nothing over Christmas. I'll just sit in the house and snack on things. I'm terrible that way.
Well, you gotta enjoy some of it, right?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you can't just do things you hate the whole time.
Yeah.
Harvest
But when
time
you
is
get
just
out there, I need some tops and some bottoms. So go ahead and build me some while you out there.
You need tops and bottoms? You want me to build those and ship them to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or are you
Well,
coming to visit?
I don't know about that. It'd be rather expensive.
I'd love to.
I'd love to have about at least 30 of the doubles bottoms.
Yeah,
Uh,
I might build a few more of these 6s,
about 60 tops.
6 framers for myself.
Yeah.
I don't. Sometimes I have people contact me and they want to buy equipment, and they don't really understand that I don't build a lot of equipment for inventory. Right? It's usually just custom built. If you
Right.
want stuff built, then you have to order it and I'll build it. But it doesn't always work for everybody, because they don't build all year round, right? Just the first 4 months or so of the year, the calendar year, is about when I build.
Yep. And then you can
So
only do so much. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah, just one
one
guy.
man band. Yeah.
That's right.
If you
That's
wasn't
right.
on the other side of the line, I'd probably order them from you.
Order them up. Drive up for a visit. Come pick them up.
They won't. They don't want me up there.
You don't, eh? Well, like I say, like you were saying, if it was the same country, then you could just drive right over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shipping would kill me. It costs more to ship them than it would for you to build them, probably.
Well, I don't know. I'm not the cheapest game in town. But it's also not the cheapest stuff in town either, right?
Right, right. You
I
get what you
I,
pay for, Brad.
I try, and that's not what everybody wants, and that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
I'm not, if somebody doesn't want to pay for my equipment, there's no hard feelings. I don't mind at all.
I look at a bottom board as being like the foundation of the house. It's only going to last so long if you build it out of cheap stuff. If you
Yeah,
make a good one, it'll last you forever. You know.
I always worry when I see pictures and videos, and somebody's got just a regular pallet sitting there, and they'll have their hive sitting on that pallet. And I look at that pallet and I think, okay, if that was my hive, that thing could weigh 500 pounds by the time the honey flow is over. And it's sitting on those little thin slats on that pallet. What if one of
Right.
those breaks? And that thing just does this.
Yeah.
It looks kind of secure and sturdy, but pallets are not. Just regular skids.
Yeah.
And it's
Hey, Matt.
deceiving how heavy those hives get too in the honey flow.
Mhm.
Pretty darn heavy.
I started setting mine on top of my bottom boards, on top of plastic pallets,
Okay.
getting them up off the ground.
Yeah.
In other words.
Yeah.
And I can take my tractor and level them up the way I want them, and just the plastic pallet stays there all the time. The bees may move, but I've always got that foundation there where I can set them on them plastic pallets. They don't rot near as easy. They don't chip and break, and ain't got to worry about all that. They last a lot longer.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to get enough plastic pallets where I can get that too high, with another pallet on that with my bottom board, right? So that'll get it on up a little bit higher where I think it'll be just about right for me.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's collecting the plastic pallets is what's taking so long.
Well, that's what Brad does in his yard. In his picture, there's what, 2 pallets, Brad? You stacking them?
Well, this picture is not really indicative of what I have when I'm managing my bees. Like, these are kind of all set up, ready to put away for the winter. So you can see here that these are stacked 2 pallets high, and those polys, I can't point to them. My fingers disappear. That's just a chap, and it's got a little pallet there with some polys on top of it. That's not really how I manage them in the summer. Those are just put together in a configuration for wintering in the building. But yeah, some of my 2-way pallet will either sit on the ground, or I've got those hive stands that I built, and they're just a 2x6 on edge, so it's
Right.
another 6 inches high. which is nice for management.
Yeah.
But
Chris,
Right.
Chris asked you there about your hive lifter. You think your hive lifter could work two-way pallet? Now, I know it'll work the boxes on a two-way pallet, but I don't think you actually lift the pallet with.
could
do
it
that
lift
with
a two-way pallet? Guaranteed, it'll lift it. The question really is, can you handle it after you lifted it? So, like if it was just a two-way pallet with two singles on it, then that wouldn't be a problem. But the pallet lifting arm system is not made for that, and it's not easy to do at all. It doesn't work well for that. So, but there's something coming up on my channel that relates to that. So stay tuned, and I'll show you about that when it
Yeah. I mean, I know that your
comes up.
hive lifter that Boris made works great with your boxes.
Yeah.
One that I have, it works, great with my boxes. I love it. Takes a lot of away from, back problems. And actually, I mean, for me, where I do, you can lift those honey boxes up as a unit if you need to get into the brood chamber, and you don't disturb the bees as much, only where you break the boxes. All the bees that are up in, let's say, 2 supers or 3 supers,
Yeah.
they're up there. They don't even kind of know what's happening.
I can, well, I should say, I was going to say I can lift two deeps, but lifting them, like the power of the machine to lift them, is not the question. It's how can you control them while they're up there?
Control them. Yeah.
And your lifter would be a little more stable than mine, because mine is more like a hand truck system. And but I can still lift 2 deeps, 3 if I need to say set escapes. I'll lift 3 deeps to set escapes. I could lift 4. I just choose not to. It gets very difficult to make sure the thing doesn't tip over or something. And if you're going to move them around, I don't like to do more than 2. Like if I'm harvesting, I'll try to pick off 2 at a time and put them on my little pallet off to the side. So, was it Roy asked a question? No. Roy, Russell asked a question about. No, it was Roy asked a question about plywood. 2-way pallets for moving. What's the best plywood thickness? Everything I build is 3/4 inch, and it needs to be an exterior grade plywood that would be used for sheathing a building, because that has a waterproof glue bond in it. If you don't use that,
he's going to wax dip it.
It'll delaminate if you don't use exterior grade plywood. And you could use something. I would be content with using something as thin as 5/8, but 3/4 is typically what I use. 1/2 inch would not be stable enough. You could do it with 1/2 inch, but you'd have a lot more warpage and whatnot after you assemble them.
Yeah.
Wax dipping really, really helps keep things stable too, as far as warpage goes, because it replaces the moisture, and it also repels moisture, so that the wood doesn't really absorb a lot of moisture after that. So you don't have that wet and dry cycle, which is what warps wood. So wax dipping is really an ideal finish in that regard.
Yep. Hey, Phil. Well, guys, it's almost 20 minutes 11 here for me. You can hang on for a little bit more, but I'm going to have to shut down here pretty quick. Well, I'm glad that you came on tonight, Brad. I haven't seen you for, I don't know, seemed like a month now.
Oh, it hasn't been that long, Charlie.
Seems that way. I don't know. But
well, thanks. I thought I'd come in and say hi.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
We just had some turkey dinner.
turkey, did you?
Oh
Yeah, I went down to my cousin's house, and we had yeah, actually they had turkey at Thanksgiving, and she had some seafood type stuff, crab balls and shrimp and stuff like that today, and all that. More like you say, you walk out there too full.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't eat. You know, you get used to eating a small amount and all
Well,
that.
and we like leftovers here because they're so easy, right? You don't have to prepare a whole meal. You just get the containers out, fill a plate, put it in the microwave. So we can have turkey dinner for a couple of days now.
Oh yeah, at least.
Yeah. We make
At
a big
least.
pot of mashed potatoes and gravy.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's my job. My wife boils up the potatoes and then I put them in the machine and make a nice whipped potato out of them.
Do you add mayonnaise?
I have never tried mayonnaise.
Try
Him-
mayonnaise.
I add butter and milk.
Yeah,
Butter and
try
cream.
it.
Well,
Try
butter
it
and
two
cream. I'll use milk.
spoonfuls of mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, eh? A little
Yeah,
tang.
it cuts
While you
cuts that irony flavor out of the potatoes. Just try it.
I will
Real
try it.
mayonnaise, not the off-brand stuff. Use real
Oh, no.
mayonnaise.
you mean
Oh,
like Hellman's or something or what?
I buy real mayonnaise.
Yeah, yeah.
I
know.
put it's not something my wife likes, so I don't do it often. But if it's not, if it's just for me, I'll put cheese whiz in them,
Yeah,
In
that
your
sounds
potatoes?
and that it's kind of a potato au gratin thing. I can even then fry up some diced onions, fry those real nice, throw those in too. I love
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Try 2
Those are-
scoops of mayonnaise. Let
Yeah.
me know what you think.
I'll let you know.
Little salt, not much.
That sounds really good. I'm a big mayonnaise fan, as you can
Yeah.
probably imagine.
You'll like it.
Yeah, I like my mayonnaise too.
Not no Miracle Whip, real mayonnaise.
Yeah,
Miracle Whip is not
I got
mayonnaise.
like up around here is Hellman's for me.
Yeah.
I know some people
there's
down.
a big fight, mayonnaise and Miracle Whip, and I don't know why there's a big fight because it's two different things.
Yeah.
Miracle Whip is fine, but it's not mayonnaise.
It's either Hellman's or Duke's around
I was
here.
just going to say that's a southern thing. It seems like down in the south.
Yeah.
Duke's
I don't know.
mayonnaise.
Is the Kraft brand big down there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kraft
Kraft's
products?
big. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but usually
Around
buy
here, you'll have
Kraft.
Hellman's, as I'll say, the main number one.
Yeah.
Down in the Tennessee area, it seems to be Duke's. And
yeah.
I have seen Duke's up here, but you don't hear people talk about it like they do down south.
We have Hellman's. We usually buy Kraft mayonnaise,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's good. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. Now, another tip: if you're going to make this macaroni and cheese in a box, take the box, you boil up the noodles, you little packet of cheese. If you're going to make that, I was going to make that one day years ago, and I got halfway through it. I realized I had no milk, but I had a little container of sour cream in my fridge. I'll tell you,
Sour cream.
That is gourmet macaroni and cheese. If you use sour cream instead of milk, definitely.
I'll try that too.
And all that. Well, guys, it's 20 minutes of 11. And I think I'm going to go ahead and shut down the chat. And then I'll be on, let's see, what is tonight? Today's Wednesday. I'll be on Friday night for my normal show. Isn't Kraft Miracle Whip? I'm not really sure about that.
I think Miracle Whip might be a Kraft product. But they also make mayonnaise.
Darren, just come on Friday night and hang out with us.
Hey, Darren. Hey, Norm. Norm going to the Nobby.
Yep. I'm going to be.
Say hi to Norm. Take care of Norm for me, okay, Charlie?
Yep. Oh, that's your, he was on earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on he actually popped in for the first
guest.
He was my first guest until everybody else come in. And he popped out. We were talking about Nobby, and he said he was fairly close to it, I think. Going to come on a Saturday, I believe. Something like that.
Yeah, he told me today that he's going down. Big bad red.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and shut down, guys and gals, and hope we'll see y'all Friday night.
Okay.
Nah,
8
yeah.
p.m.
Night, everybody.
See you later.